It is with nothing but unmitigated pleasure that I'd like to welcome you to the Sunday morning edition of In the Game. Welcome. My name is Babatunde Koiki. Happy Easter to all our viewers from all across the world. We know that you're probably watching us online on channel 422 on DSTV or channel 274 on Star Times, and also probably even joining us live via YouTube, where we're also streaming, and you can also join the conversation using our social media handles. That's Instagram, X, and of course TikTok as well. Welcome once again, and I'm not doing the show alone. I have Adebari with me. Ope, it's nice to have you on the show. Very quickly, what's been the highlight of your sporting weekend so far, and what are you still looking forward to this week?
I think, first of all, Bayern Munich boss Thomas Tuchel saying that they've lost the title race. Hearing that from a manager has to be pretty much exciting, should I say, in one aspect. And then, if there's anything I'm looking forward to, I think it has to be Rivers United, their game in the CAF Confederations Cup. They're the only hope of Nigeria, so I'm looking forward to them. I'm doing something fantastic for us.
Well, Rivers United will be facing the defending champions of the CAF Confederations Cup later today at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. But before we get to that, let's quickly give you our top 5 stories for the day. And we start with this one coming out of the United States of America from the NWSL. It's great news for Nigeria because Nigeria's Super Falcons striker Uchenna Kanu has sent a warning signal to the Banyana of South Africa, defending champions of the Africa Women's Champions, Africa Women's Cup of Nations, ahead of the final round of the Olympic Games qualifier. The striker grabbed the headlines in racing Louisville's 2-2 draw against Thorns FC in the National Women's Soccer League there in America. The Nigerian international scored twice in 5 minutes to give her team a valuable away draw against the hard-fighting Thorn FC, and she's expected to join the camp of the Super Falcons for this weekend's first leg match, slated to be held at the MQ Abiola Stadium in Abuja next weekend. And to some boxing news now. It was a great night for boxing if you're a huge boxing fan. And Sebastian Fundora, the towering inferno, he upset Tim Tszyu to win the junior middleweight titles. In one of the bloodiest fights in recent memory, Sebastian Fundora scored the upset with a split decision victory over Tim Tszyu to capture the WBC and WBO junior middleweight titles Saturday night inside the T-Mobile Arena.
Difficult for me, but hey, I tried and eventually I got the win. So I think that's what Tim Tszyu.
Congratulations to the towering inferno Sebastian Fundora, who is now the WBO and WBC champion. Still talking boxing now. Another great fight happened last night. Isaac Pitbull Cruz, he has terminated Rolly Romero's WBA title reign. Cruz, who's from Mexico City, he won the WBA junior welterweight that he's usually known for from the first belt before closing the show in style. Cruz has now improved to 26 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw with 18 knockouts, and he... Congratulations to Isaac Pitbull Cruz, who is now the WBA junior welterweight champion, doing that in style, basically erasing memories of that loss to Tank Davis a few years ago, but he's now a champion in his own right. He's always been one of the most dominant fighters in the division, highly feared, and I think he now has a title to match the reputation. To some tennis now, and we go to the Miami Open, where Danielle Collins defeated Elena Rybakina in the women's final. America's Danielle Collins defeated the 4th seed in straight sets to
have played at the level that I've played consistently over the last 2 weeks. This has been such a journey for me. 30 years old, this was the finals of my first 1,000, and it's been a different journey than I think a lot of the stories that we're familiar with. And yeah, it's just been amazing to go out today and to have felt the energy that I felt from the fans and literally feel like I'm playing in front of thousands of my best friends. That was just surreal. I will never forget this day because of that. Everywhere I looked, people were like, "Let's go, Danielle, you can do this." Like, the encouragement and support that I got was just, it was hard for me to hide the emotion.
Congratulations to Danielle Collins. No relation to the author Jackie Collins, by the way, who's winning her first WT 1000 title and only her 3rd career title. Plans to retire by the end of the year at the age of 30. And finally, on our top 5, let us tell you that in the spirit of Easter, where hymns are being sung. Another hymn is being sung right now at the Allianz Arena. It's now the race is over. That is exactly what Bayern Munich manager Thomas Tuchel is singing. He's saying that the Bundesliga title race is obviously over after his sides lost. And that is how the Bundesliga race ended. Thomas Tuchel putting up his hands and saying, hey, it's over. There's nothing we can do right now. Bayer Leverkusen are 13 points clear. They, by the way, made hard work, heavy weather of coming from behind to beat Hoffenheim by 2-1, and it is now their title to basically lose. And that's our top 5 stories. When we return from the break, I'll be asking Okwe a few questions about what we've discussed after the break. Thank you for staying tuned with us this lovely Easter Sunday. It's still in the game. My name is Babatunde Koiki. I still have Adebari with me. Let's quickly take a look at just some of the top 5 stories that we just read out. And let's start with this one coming out of North America, where Uchenna Kanu scored 2 goals in her club's Racing Louisville's 2-2 draw with Thorns FC. And it is just coming in the nick of time as the Super Falcons of Nigeria limber up to face the Banyana of South Africa in what promises to be a make or mar game. Don't forget, only one team in that encounter can qualify for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. It is a fight between 2 bitter rivals, and how we say it in this part of the world, someone has got to go. But Uchenna Kanu just scored 2 goals right at this point in time. It's really heartwarming to see that Nigerian strikers are getting on the score sheet ahead of what promises to be a very, very difficult game.
Definitely, it's going to be a very difficult game, and considering the magnitude of the game and what it signifies, I mean, the winner qualifies for the Olympics, and the Falcons haven't been to the Olympics since 2008, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a very, very important fixture for them. And considering the fact that the South Africans have even started preparing, they started preparing about a week ago, and the Falcons are yet to have their own camp. There is a possibility that Randy Waldrum might not even be with the Falcons due to his duties with his college team. So yeah, so a bit of upset around that. You know, I know, like we always speak about Nigerian football and our sports generally. If you don't prepare properly, I mean, what do you expect? You don't expect them to go with the Nigerian spirit, but her being in good form is good. Considering the fact that we've only been able to score, Falcons have only been able to score 2 goals in their last 2 fixtures, which is a bit worrisome, if you ask me.
Because worrisome, or just the fact that maybe other teams in the African continent are getting better?
I mean, I would give the other teams kudos, and I'll give them their props and credit, but at the end of the day, we create a lot of chances, and I feel that not being clinical is a problem. To be more precise, even Asisat Oshoala has found it difficult to put the ball at the back of the net for the Falcons. She was even benched in our last qualification game in the second leg. So a few issues around that in terms of goal scoring for the Falcons, but we know that our defense is tight. Creating of chances is not a problem for us, but scoring goals has been an issue for us. But thankfully, Uchenna Kanu seems to be in good form, and hopefully she can take that form going into the very, very important second installment, should I say, of an Amapiano derby in 2024 between Nigeria and South Africa.
It seems you can't separate these 2 teams. These 2 nations in the last few months now. First at the Africa Cup of Nations, now in a make or mar, do or die encounter to qualify for the Paris Olympic Games. So of course a lot is riding on that, and of course bragging rights as well. Is it safe to say that Nigeria is now certified? If whoever loses this, if Nigeria loses this, is it safe to say that Nigeria is now certified 2nd place in the scheme of things in terms of African women's football?
I would like to say so. If you ask me, I'd like to say so, because even history gives us good credit to be one of the most talked about nations when it comes to African football, and for women in particular. But at the end of the day, I think when we qualify for the Olympics, how we perform as well would also give credit to our stand currently when it comes to women's football in Africa. And obviously, if we do, by God's grace, if we do qualify for the Olympics, we will be going for the gold, definitely, because that's how champions, that's the championship mentality. And we've always had that with our teams, irrespective of the nature of the squad and whatever it is that is going on around us. But definitely, qualifying for the Olympics has to be the first step, and then going there and putting on a good show, not just for football fans, but for Nigerians as a whole.
Finally, before we leave this topic, what do you think of Michelle Alozie, everybody's sweetheart, who played as a striker for her club, Houston Dash, over the weekend?
Yeah, quite sad for her. But to be fair, Louis Dash rather, they've been in, should I say, a topsy-turvy from throughout the NWSL
No, I'm
season.
talking about Houston Dash. I'm talking about Houston Dash.
Oh, pardon me. Yes,
Yeah.
Houston Dash. Yes, so they themselves.
Michelle Alose played as a striker for Houston Dash. That was very surprising for me.
Oh yeah, with the Super Eagles as well, she has played more than one
Super
position.
Falcons.
Rather, with Super Falcons as well, she has played more than one position. So I'm not surprised at all. Before she made her first debut for the Super Falcons, the last game she did play for her club side, she did play as a striker. So coming into the Super Falcons team, seeing her play as a fullback, I was quite surprised when I saw her name there. But she deputized very well, and I think she shows that she's well-rounded as a footballer, and definitely she's got different skill sets that can help her play different positions on the field.
Okay, let's leave that behind and let's move to that tennis story where we saw Danielle Collins win only the her third career title in star, beating Elena Rybakina, a former Grand Slam champion in straight sets, to win only her third title and her first WTA 1000 title. Really
compete at other Grand Slams this year. Tam would let us know, and she might just be successful in everything that she decides to do in terms of the tournaments going to the rest of the year. I mean, what better way than to leave when the ovation is loudest?
She's never won a Grand Slam. Let's put that on the table. But if she does win one this year, what a way to leave the stage when the ovation is loudest. I sincerely doubt it because she ranked at 53, the first unseeded player to win in Miami since Kim Clijsters. That is record-breaking in itself. Okay, let's leave that behind and talk about this piece of news coming out of the Bundesliga in Germany, where Thomas Tuchel has basically thrown up his hands and said, hold up, there's nothing going on anymore here in Munich. It is Bayer Leverkusen's title. We give up, we cannot catch them. Capitulation, or just identifying and admitting that they are second best, in your own opinion?
I think just admitting that they're set, he's a proven winner, especially with Chelsea in the past, a Champions League winner, Club World Cup winner, and then being the manager of a club like Bayern Munich. But honestly, since Xabi Alonso took over the reins at Bayer Leverkusen, they're yet to lose a game. They're still unbeaten from last season, and they've been really, really hard to get a hold of. But I think Bayern alone, for me, they've been highly inconsistent. I question the change when Julian Nagelsmann was sacked midway. Deployed. I've seen him switch the team from a 3 at the back to going back to Bayern's favorite 4-2-3-1, which the fans love and the fans clamor for because they're accustomed to Bayern always playing attractive and attacking football. I wouldn't say injuries have been on his side. Despite the major signings that they did make in January, they signed the likes of Brian Zaragoza, they got in Sasha Bowie. These two players have been struggling with injury. Rafael Guerrero, who was brought in from Borussia Dortmund as well, has been struggling with injury. Alphonso Davies has been a huge miss for them as well this season. There was a bit of a scare with Harry Kane, but thankfully he's back in action as well. And then defense has been a major issue for them. Bringing in Eric Dyer and Harry Kane, the fans have said, these two former Spurs players, they brought the curse of being Spursy to the Bavarians in Germany. So some fans are going with that narrative as well. But even in terms of centre-back pairing, Opeyemi Kanu has been found wanting a lot of times this season. And it's been difficult for both even Nagelsmann, who was the former coach, and Tuchel to find a good defensive pairing. Lucas Hernandez has been put in that position as well to play as a centre-back.
De Ligt as well.
Is that De Ligt as well? De Ligt has had issues not just with Bayern but also with the national team as well, in terms of him not wanting to do so much going forward as well, and him not wanting to play in a back three, to be precise. So they've been switching between the likes of Kanu and Min-jae. Min-jae as well has been, should I say, has been underwhelming.
Too. He believes he's playing a big part role.
Exactly. So extremely underwhelming.
Yourself, so what really is the problem with this Bayern squad? Because you keep mentioning our stars. Hugh Min-jae, De Ligt, there's Harry Kane, there's Jamal Musiala, there's Joshua Kimmich, Alphonso Davies. It's a team replete with stars. So who do we blame for this? The management, the coach, or the players? Or do they all share the blame?
I think they need to all share the blame because they've been also unrest behind closed doors with change of owners. So new owners have come in. There's a different style in management now.
New owners for Bayern?
Yes, new owners behind this is in terms of the executives. So
you talk about management.
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly. So for them, it's been a bit. There's been inconsistency as well behind closed doors. And for me, when you have a galaxy of stars, you do need a manager who first of all earn the respect of the players and who is able to control them. And for such top players, when things are not going well for them on the pitch, sometimes they
in central midfield for for years now. So I think there's really no argument whether he's a right back or a central midfielder. He started as a right back, I agree, but he's pretty much a central midfielder. But the issues regarding Bayern didn't just start this season. They've actually been there since last season when they had issues with how do I go to use Sadio Mane as well. But they overcame it somehow. But this season, it seems they have been found wanting. In a lot of people's opinion, maybe they should just go and meet Karim Adeyemi and ask him for some of that fufu power that he's been showing. Let's leave Bayern and their troubles behind, and let's move to the Spanish La Liga, where Barcelona continue to try to claw back some semblance of respectability in the race for the La Liga title. Well, Barcelona kept the pressure,
able to take them to the heights that is expected. I mean, considering the type of signings that were made in the summer and the additions to the team, getting the likes of Joao Felix, getting the likes of Joao Cancelo. But honestly, Barcelona have been, should I say, injury-ridden. The likes of Pedri, the likes of Gavi, the likes of Baldi as well, the left back. These are key players for them who've been missing throughout the season with injury. And I think he has struggled to get his specified starting 11.
But he still has some good youngsters.
Of course, the likes of Fermin Lopez, the likes of Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal has been a brilliant revelation. And honestly, that's what happens to Barcelona whenever they seem to be going down. The most popular big chance merchants who finds it difficult to score the easy goals, but scores the ones where you see that are quite difficult, if you ask me.
Thank you, God. Yeah. I thought you were going to say it was Darwin Núñez.
No.
So that's no. Fair. It's good to know that at least there's somebody that a lot of people believe is even worse than Darwin Núñez. But looking at Bayern Munich and also looking at Barcelona, both of them will definitely lose their coaches in the summer. So who could the possible replacements be both at the Allianz Arena and at the Camp Nou? Could we see a swap?
Could we see a swap? I don't think so. But in football, never say never. For Barcelona, I think the person tipped to replace Xavi is actually Roberto De Zerbi, the current coach of Brighton. He's one person who actually knows how to set up a team to play exciting football as well. We see that currently with Brighton. But don't be surprised if Thiago Motta takes up the job. Thiago Motta has been doing a brilliant job with Genoa in the Italian Serie A. He's someone who's also been tipped to replace Xavi as well. So then again, Ronald Koeman is still there. I don't know if they want to go back to Ronald Koeman. But for Bayern, I believe Bayern will be looking forward to a coach who is experienced. Jose Mourinho is currently in the market. I see that happening.
That's interesting. Nobody ever mentioned. I mean, he's available, but he's not even being mentioned. Bayern have said nothing. They've been tight-lipped about him. I mean, Barcelona too possibly might see Mourinho.
But Mourinho's style of football and Barcelona doesn't just go hand in hand with me. But then again, Mourinho was someone who learned under the late Brian Robson, who was the former coach of Barcelona at the time. So
he has Barcelona.
Exactly. He knows the way. And then obviously one of his greatest adversaries or his greatest foes, has to be Pep Guardiola. And you'll have learned a lot from him as well. And he knows the Barcelona way of football. But would he want to toe that line? Is that really Mourinho's style of football? I do not think so. And the fact that he coached Real Madrid already, I think there's too much drama around that. I don't think he would go ahead to coach Barcelona. But for me, considering Bayern Munich, I think Mourinho and Bayern Munich are a good fit. Big name manager, big name club, a club who is used to success domestically and continentally as well. So for me, that makes a lot of sense. The other coaches available in the market, Zinedine Zidane is there, but I mean, he's someone who has shied away from club football after only managing Real Madrid. Would he want to take his expertise outside of Spain and try something new? I think Bayern will be a good club for him. They are well set up financially, and they've got quality players that he could use to his advantage. So both are prominent roles that a lot of managers will be looking forward to. But at the end of the day, these teams would want to choose the managers that would best suit the team going forward. So I think it's all about the projects of this team going forward. For Barcelona, they've had a lot of issues in recent years, a lot of issues in terms of finances, in terms of new ownership. They are trying to get themselves back again to be stable. But then again, they would also want to be successful on the pitch. Xavi was successful for a period of time, but it just seems to be that he can't handle what the media says. And then there's a lot of pressure on him as well. So they do need to get a manager who is experienced and someone who can handle everything that comes with managing a big club side like Barcelona. They are not just one of the top two biggest teams in Spain, but one of the most historic clubs in the history of world football, and it takes a lot to manage this team. Same thing with Bayern Munich. They've got a lot of history and heritage, and they want to get back in the reins of winning the Bundesliga and being successful in Europe as well.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that certain Jose Mourinho might be taking German lessons now. But the big surprise for me was that despite it being called a marriage made in heaven, that Xabi Alonso is going to walk away from Barcelona. Still talking football now. Let's come back home to Nigeria and tell you that the State FA Cup finals have been going on over the weekend. We have some results for you coming up on the screen. In the Federal Capital Territory, in Kaduna, it was really exciting, where the men and women's football team of the Nigerian Army actually won the men's and women's FA Cup. The Green Berets, that's the name of the Nigerian Army football team, they won the Kaduna FA Cup. But in other states, in Kwara State especially, Kwara United defeated the ABS Football Club of Ilorin by 2-1. In Benue State, it was Lobby Stars defeating Flight FC 2-1. Nasarawa United, they lost to FC Basira on penalty kicks by 5-4. In Plateau State, it was a 1-1 draw after full time between Plateau United and Mighty Jets, both of them perennial finalists of the Plateau FA Cup. Plateau United winning that one by 4-1. In Kogi State, it was Kogi Central FC beating FC Bako by 4-1. While in the Federal Capital Territory, EFCC played out a 2-2 draw with Sporting Supreme. I think it was Sporting Supreme that edged that one eventually. So those are the results from the Nigerian FA Cup finals that were played over this weekend. Those are the ones that we know so far. But later on today, we'll be giving you the winners as the other states result. Yes, and that's the one we're talking about. In Kaduna State, the Green Berets, they won the Kaduna FA Cup final. I think 4-2 it ended in their favor. This team is solely sponsored by the Nigerian Army. Basically, it seems as if the military might was too much for the opponents on the day.
Definitely, it seemed that way, and it's good to see them rejoicing, good to see them happy, considering the state of Nigeria. But then again, this is football, and at the end of the day, anyone can win. So it depends on who wants it the most, and they were definitely prepared for this tournament. And yes, they did well, and I think the results shows that.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations to the Green Berets, the Nigerian Army team, who will be representing Kaduna State in the Federation Cup later this year. Let's leave Nigeria behind and go to the west coast of Africa and to Ghana specifically, where the FA Cup is also going on as well. One match was played yesterday. The result is up on your screen. It was Nosatremen beating Karela United by 1-0. Nswatremen beating Karela United 1-0 yesterday. The fixtures coming up on your screen now. Those are the games to look forward to today. It's two great games. There's Bofakwa Tano facing Sky FC and Legon Cities battling Bechem United. Two good games to look forward to. It's cup season now, so let's head over to Algeria, where some games are also played as well in the Algerian Cup. Those are the results on your screen. Bet Aknoun defeating JS Gilel 1-0. USM Kenchela also losing 2-1 to MC Olja. MC Olja, one of the biggest teams in Algeria. JS Azazga also played out a 2-2 with WA Tlemcem. WA Tlemcem used to be actually continental campaigners back in the day, but they've fallen way down the pecking order. But this was another surprise in the Algerian Cup. US Biskra defeating MC Oran, one of the biggest clubs in that country, by a lone goal. Still staying with cup season, let's head over to Morocco, where there's one game to look forward to today. The mighty Wydad Casablanca, multiple Moroccan champions, former African champions, they will be at home against CRS Salmi. To the South African Premier League now, the PSL games were also played over the weekend as well. The games were played yesterday. Let's quickly give you those results. Cape Town City and Kaizer Chiefs played out a goalless draw. Lamontville Golden Arrows defeated Richards Bay by 2-1. Polokwane City edged Chippa United 1-0. Chippa United, of course, have our own Stanley Wambali in goal. Stellenbosch hammered Royal AM by 3 goals to nothing. TS Galaxy also overcame Amazulu by 2 goals to nothing, while Sekukune United, who are continental campaigners for the first time in their history this season, they defeated Orlando Pirates by 2 goals to 1. It seems as if it is Mamelodi Sundowns that are the dominant team in the PSL, while former giants like Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates have fallen short. Well, there's one game to look forward to today. It's Cape Town Spurs versus Morocco Swallows. That game, of course, comes up in Cape Town. Still talking African football, there were some games played yesterday in the CAF Champions League, and very surprisingly, every single one of them ended goalless. We'll give you those results on your screen right now, but one of them one of the teams involved is probably the most surprising team in the CAF Champions League this season. Petro Atletico of Luanda. They have not conceded a single goal in 7 games, home or away. They have not even lost a game in this year's CAF Champions League. Remarkable performance. They might become the first team to win the CAF Champions League without conceding a single goal. If they do, that will go down in history as one of the greatest achievements in world football. Well, they were away in Lubumbashi. They played a goalless draw away to host TP Mazembe, who are former champions themselves. Of course, in Dar es Salaam, it was Young Africans hosting Mamelodi Sundowns. That game ended goalless. While in Radez, it was another goalless draw between Esperance and Asekwi Musa. Esperance could not find a winner. The second leg comes up in Cote d'Ivoire in just a few days' time. That is a great game to look forward to. From the CAF Champions League, we move on to the CAF Confederations Cup. There are some good games to look forward to today. Yes, that one, the first one there, concerns us tremendously. Rivers United versus USM Alger will take place at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo today. Stade Malien will also battle Dreams FC of Ghana. Abu Salim of Libya will entertain RSB Berkane of Morocco, while it is an all-Egyptian battle, Future FC versus Zamalek. That one promises to be really, really good. Okay, let's quickly talk about Rivers United. We've mentioned earlier in some of our previous shows about how they applied to CAF to move their game from 1700 to much earlier in the day.
Yeah, to 1400.
1400, I beg your pardon. To 1400 to try and, I don't know for what reason. I haven't seen them advance any reasons, but what could be the possible reasons? And is it underhand tactics by Rivers United as I guess are alleging?
Well, I'm not going to assume that it's underhand tactics, but if it is, it's probably because you could just get the Algerians in the middle of their fast. Because they
this is the month of Ramadan.
Exactly.
Muslims,
so I mean, for Rivers United, maybe they've done a bit of homework to probably know when players are weakest during the day while they are fasting. It's very, very possible. But then again, I think basically, if for them rescheduling, maybe so that fans might be able to watch the game properly, in my own opinion. But
it's not because it's the hottest time of the day when the sun is highest.
I'm not going to read too much meaning into that. Okay. I don't want to assume. I'm
just asking.
but to be fair, when you take a look at the heat in Nigeria, I don't think it's going to be of favor to any other side. But definitely, probably because they are fasting, they might just get weaker while the sun is at its peak. But then again, these are professional footballers. This is a competition where both teams would want to win, and they'll be looking forward to strong victories. And taking a look at Rivers United, I think they do need to be lethal in this fixture. In comparison to the last knockout fixture in the Confederations Cup, they left it late for me in the second leg. They create a lot of chances, and not dispatching their chances is one major problem that they've had throughout this season. Yes, they do know how to grind out victories, but then again, when it comes to this stage of the competition, you do need to be lethal in front of goal.
Okay, well, all the best to Rivers United tonight as they take on defending champions of the CAF Confederations Cup in Uyo. Let's leave African football behind and go to the English Premier League. Plenty of games were played yesterday. Football is back in England and lots of people were happy. Let's quickly give you the results. Some excellent games. How about that for the first game? A proper humdinger at St. James's Park. Newcastle United with a ding-dong affair with West Ham United ended 4-3 in favour of Newcastle United. Harvey Barnes scoring a brilliant winner. Bournemouth also defeated Everton by 2-1. Chelsea could only conspire to force a 2-2 draw at home with Burnley. Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace played out a 1-1 draw. Sheffield United and Fulham also played out a pulsating 3-3 draw. Rodrigo Muniz scoring an acrobatic leveler for Fulham in that game. Tottenham Hotspur also defeated Luton Town by 2-1. They came from behind to win that one. Aston Villa were 2-0 better than Wolverhampton Wanderers, while Brentford grinded out a draw with Manchester United. Needed a 96-minute equalizer to get a point from that game. Let's quickly show you some highlights from those games and also listen to Mauricio Pochettino. Let's give you the highlight from the Chelsea game, the Manchester United game, and of course, let's listen to Mauricio Pochettino and Eric Ten Hag.
Level, fabulous goal by Josh Collin, and it's Chelsea 1, Burnley 1. Here at Stamford Bridge, are they?
I don't believe, because we managed really well one phase of the game with the ball, and we score and we create too many chances. But in another way, I think to concede 2 goals with 10 men, I think is not possible, and so frustrated, so disappointed, because I think we were not good enough.
We should have done this better. I'm not happy with the performance. There's no misunderstanding, and the players are also disappointed by the performance. And we should be consistent in the way.
Okay, highlights from the Premier League. Yes, from matches played yesterday, but there are 2 games to look forward to today. It's Liverpool entertaining Brighton at Anfield. Some call it the audition for Roberto De Zerbi for the about to be vacant job at Liverpool. Don't forget that Jurgen Klopp will walk away from his position at the end of the season. He said he's run out of energy. And there's a big game tonight. It's first versus third. Manchester City versus Arsenal. Master versus Protege. That game promises to be really good at the Etihad Stadium. Let's quickly listen to Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola ahead of that game.
We have a lot of stats. Normally our stats was good, but maybe that's the reality. But if you say stats, how the way we play in some games, against top we were really, really good, and against United we won both games, and against Tottenham Liverpool at home we play incredible well, we could not win. So it's not a game I don't pay my attention. It's the top 6 or top 7 or the other teams. It's the same points, 1-1. You play against Arsenal. If you win, they don't win. So that's why it's a moment to, you have to win the important games to get the advantage. You will try tomorrow.
Yeah, we had some clashes as well in the FA Cup, in Community Shields, and it's all great experiences. They have raised the bar in this league, I think, in football in general, to a level that it haven't been seen before, and that's the beauty of a sport. That makes you better, that challenges you more, and you have to keep up with that pace, and that's what we are trying to do.
Promises to be a great, exciting game this afternoon at the Etihad Stadium. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure Okwe is looking forward to it as well. But very quickly, before we go, let's tell you that there were matches played in the NBA early this morning. Let's quickly show you those results. The Orlando Magic beating the Memphis Grizzlies 118-88, while the Milwaukee Bucks were too good for the Atlanta Hawks, also winning 122-113. Well, that's what we have for you on this morning's edition of In the Game, the Easter Sunday morning edition. Many thanks to Adebari, who was here with me as well. Together, we brought you 1 hour of the latest sports news from across the world, Nigeria and beyond. My name is Babatunde Koiki, wishing you a wonderful Easter. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.